YouTubers and Star Wars fans, and welcome to my review of the long-awaited movie Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. It's taken 32 years to see what happens after the ending of Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and now finally here we are about to review what is a sort of reboot but a sequel at the same time. The Force Awakens, of course, is set over 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. The Empire has fallen, but now they're rising from the ashes and they've been rebranded as the New Order. And the same goes for the Rebellion or the Alliance. They're now known as the Resistance, so they sort of have that Terminator vibe to them. And I quite like how they've changed the names. It shows that they've both moved on in a way. As every Star Wars film starts off with the opening crawl. This is the first movie out of them all which doesn't feature the 20th Century Fox logo at the very beginning, and because this is the first one to come out since Disney took over the franchise back in 2012. So it's really good that we've still got the opening crawl, because with modern day movies, one thing I was a bit scared of was they're going to take a totally different direction. If you look at things like James Bond, for example, some of the recent James Bond films didn't feature the gun barrel sequence. Hell, it's only with the release of Spectre in 2015 that the gun barrel has finally been brought back to the very beginning of the film, and it was the first time in 13 years since Die Another Day that happened. But yes, thankfully the opening crawl is there. Same music. John Williams is back to score the music. What do I think of the music in this film? Well, while I don't think it's the best original soundtrack that's ever been done for a Star Wars film, I think it's still goddamn awesome. John Williams, in terms of music, is just God. He's the god of movie music for me. He just never fails to deliver. There's some great new themes in there, as well as some returning old ones. So that's absolutely brilliant. But anyhow, this film starts off with our new characters. I'd say for about the first half hour we get introduced to all of these new characters. It's just all about the new characters. What do I think of the new characters? Well, to sum it up in one word, awesome. I absolutely love these new characters that were introduced in this film. I was quite apprehensive at first because I thought, they're introducing new characters as well as bringing back the old characters from the original trilogy. But to be honest, these new characters work very well. They've all been well cast by the casting director. Every single one. There's not one weakest link out of them all. I can't identify one anyway. The film starts off in Jakku, and what happens is the First Order attack Jakku because they're looking for this droid. They're looking for Luke Skywalker because, as said in the opening crawl of this film, Luke Skywalker has disappeared. And it's not explained why he's disappeared until halfway through the film. And the reason for it is very captivating in my opinion. I think they explained it very well. It explains why he was absent from all the promotional material, because if you take a look at the poster for this film, Luke Skywalker doesn't even appear on it at all. He doesn't even appear in the trailers apart from that one shot when he puts his hand on R2-D2. So yeah, he's disappeared. Everyone is looking for him. The First Order's looking for him, and the Resistance are also looking for Luke Skywalker. But BB-8 has retrieved some information, part of a map where Luke Skywalker might be. And BB-8 is this small little droid. He's kind of like the new R2-D2 of this film. Absolutely brilliant droid. It's amazing. And it's all practical effects. It's not CGI or anything like that. And I think it's just absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's owned by the X-Wing pilot Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac. And he does a pretty good job, in my opinion. He's brilliant. I really like this character. He's kind of like another Han Solo of this film, which is really good. I like his dialogue, what he's given. I like after he's captured by the First Order, when he's interrogated by the villain of this film. Now, I have to talk about the villain of this film, because if I don't talk about the villain of this film, there's no point in me talking about the film as a whole. So what do I think about Kylo Ren? Well, it was always going to be a difficult task to follow in the footsteps of the greatness of Darth Vader, despite him being called Annie in the horrible prequel films. Kylo Ren kicks ass, but at the same time I hate him, but for a good reason. It's good that I hate him because it shows that he's a good villain. And I'll talk more about that towards the end. So, just a warning, I will spoil the film for you, for those who haven't seen it, towards the end. So, if you've not seen the film, stop watching this video right now. But yeah, Kylo Ren, he's just amazing. Adam Driver plays him, he's just amazing. He's like the new Darth Vader in this film, and he's got his new cross-hilt lightsaber, which is just epic. I love it. I just love this character. I thought I just wouldn't like this character in terms of performance or delivery or the way he was written, but gotta hand it to the writers on this one. They've done a pretty goddamn good job on this. Written better than some of the villains in the prequel trilogy. Kylo Ren is one of the best characters ever in Star Wars. After just seeing this one film, I think many people may take a liking to this villain in some sort of way, but at the same time they'll hate him. So yeah, Kylo Ren is good. Exceeded all my expectations because I thought it was going to be an absolute disaster, but it's not, which is a great thumbs up from me. Kylo Ren, he interrogates Oscar Isaac's character, and there's a stormtrooper there who turns good because he was raised to do one thing, fight in a battle, but at the last minute he said no, and he's actually turned to the good side. He's played by John Boyega, and his name is Finn. Well, he's given the name Finn by Poe Dameron after they escape from the Imperial forces. And I think that Finn, again, I love this character. I love John Boyega's performance. He puts on the American accent. He's actually British. I really do like this character. Again, this is another character I was a bit apprehensive about because I saw him a lot in the trailers and everything. He's been teased as being the new hero of this new trilogy. But after seeing him in this film, I'm very satisfied. And I think, as vague as the description of his character is, defecting to the light side from being evil, I actually don't mind it, to be honest. I actually think, yeah, it's fine. Because it's never happened before, let's do it now. And I think the way it was done, it worked for me. I thought it was fine. So yeah, I think that John Boyega, he puts in a great performance, and yeah, all around great performance. And the other main character, and arguably the new main character, now this was like a red herring that was made in the trailers of this film. The real main character in this film, in terms of all the new ones, is Rey, played by Daisy Ridley. And I absolutely love this character. She has instantly grown to be one of my favourite Star Wars characters now, just by seeing this one film. Honest to God, I'm not being fanboyish here. I honestly love this character. I think it's a great character, great performance by Daisy Ridley. Arguably steals the whole show in my opinion. Perfect casting. And she's one of the strongest female characters in a film that I've seen in a very long time, in my opinion. She's a lot stronger than Padme and Amidala, in my opinion, because while I like Natalie Portman and all that, I found Padme as a character to be very boring, and especially with the love story of Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. Leia Organa, well, I love her character, of course, who doesn't? But yeah, in terms of female Star Wars characters, Rey, brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. She's up there with Leia now. She's perfect in my opinion. And yeah, she's the new hero of the film. She knows the ways of the Force after touching a lightsaber, which turns out to be the lightsaber that's been handed down in Skywalker heritage. Is she or isn't she a descendant of the Skywalkers? Is she Luke Skywalker's daughter? Well, we don't really get an answer in this film. You have to wait and see in the next film. But I think that the way that was done, it was a great twist. It was one of the best twists of the whole film, that the new main protagonist is actually a female. I'm very happy with that, because in Star Wars we haven't really had that many female characters. I mean, we've had a few, but most of them haven't really been captivating. They haven't really appealed to me. The only real one that appealed to me before Episode 7 was Princess Leia. That was it. I mean, Padme Amidala, yeah, she kicked a bit of arse in the prequels, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. She just didn't have the same appeal as what Carrie Fisher did as Princess Leia in the original trilogy. But yeah, I think that Rey, the whole twist with her being the Jedi, and she actually knows the Force, she actually knows the ways of the Force, she can use a lightsaber. Great twist, because we didn't get any of that in the trailers. I didn't even know anything about that. The poster didn't really reveal that. All the promotional material pointed to Finn as being the hero, but Finn tries a lightsaber and he absolutely fails. But I love Finn as a character because he has good morals. He wants to be a good character. He doesn't want to be a bad character. He just wants to be good, because he was working for the First Order, doesn't like it, now he wants to change, and he has very good morals, but unfortunately he fails. But he tries to be a hero, which I absolutely admire the character, even though he does get his ass kicked quite a few times in this film. Right, well, I guess it's time for me to talk about the returning characters in this film. So we have Han Solo, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, the two main droids, C-3PO and R2-D2, and we have Admiral Akbar. He comes back in this film as well. No one told me about this. I was shocked that we got return of Admiral Akbar. Unfortunately, it doesn't say it's a trap though, which is a shame. That would have just been brilliant, but it's a trap. I guess that would have been a bit too much asking for fan service and everything. Because you got to admit, in this film, J.J. Abrams, with the direction, the way it was written, they delivered to the fans, didn't they? There's a lot of fan service in this film. The most fan service of any Star Wars film to date, in my opinion, because it just... You've got the Millennium Falcon, it's got the same sound effects, you've got all the old characters coming back from the original trilogy. What is not to like about this? Come on. So yeah, oh yeah, and the other character that returns, of course, is... Don't
you dare say...
Luke Skywalker, but I'll talk about him at the very end of this review, because he appears at the very end of the film. But Han Solo, he's just the same as he was like over 30 years ago. Harrison Ford just nails his performance. He just slips back into the jacket like he never even took it off. He's just brilliant. And Chewbacca, he has a few laughs in this film. He's as lovable as ever. I love Chewbacca. I must admit, if I want to be completely honest with you, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, I love Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, but she doesn't really do much in this film. And in this film, she's actually called General Leia, so she's been upgraded, and it seems like she's sort of a leader of the rebellion, or now known as the Resistance. And I think she does her job. She doesn't really do that much, but her best scenes are easily the scenes between her and Han Solo. They love each other. They still love each other, but they've been separated. And here comes one of the biggest twists of the movie, everybody. Are you ready? Are you ready for the new twist? They had a son called Ben Solo, and Luke Skywalker, his uncle, trained him to be a Jedi, just like him. But then he fell to the dark side and has become Kylo Ren. And he fell under the influence of what seems to be the big baddie of this trilogy, Supreme Leader Snoke, who's voiced by Andy Serkis. Now, when I first saw Snoke, he's like this big, massive, giant thing. He's talking to Kylo Ren and General Hux, played by Domhnall, Gleeson, who gives an excellent performance. Kind of reminds me a bit of Grand Moff Tarkin from A New Hope, played by Peter Cushing. Great performance. Reminds me a bit of the Nazis, because the New Order, the Empire, they're inspired by the Nazis. I think that the Supreme Leader, Snoke, I thought at first, what the hell? It's a giant? But it revealed that it's just a hologram, so it's being transmitted from somewhere. So it's kind of like Emperor Palpatine when we first saw him in The Empire Strikes Back. I'm not talking about the prequels. Obviously, chronologically, you see him first in the prequels, but in terms of when films are released, we see him first as a projection, and the same thing happens here with Supreme Leader Snoke. It seems like Snoke is carrying on what Palpatine did. He's the big boss of it all. He knows the ways of the dark side. He has taught Kylo Ren, he introduced him to the dark side. You don't really know that much about this character in this film, to be honest, but from what it's worth, it's very interesting to see, in my opinion. And Andy Serkis is a great actor, motion capture and all that type of thing. He's brilliant. I love him. And I think it's good casting. I really do. Despite not featuring that much in the film, maybe for about 5 minutes tops in the whole entire film, I think that from what it's worth, Supreme Leader Snoke, yeah, seems like a good character in my opinion. And yeah, he introduced Kylo Ren Ben Solo to the dark side. So Han Solo has a son who's turned to the dark side. And if you think for a second, Kylo Ren's grandfather was Darth Vader. Now, the whole twist of the film was people thought that Luke Skywalker was going to be Kylo Ren. Come on. Luke Skywalker wouldn't fall to the dark side now, especially not after the ending of Return of the Jedi, when he just turned down Emperor Palpatine's offer to go to the dark side. So, yeah, it was kind of nice. I think everyone in the film studio is now laughing at the faces of the audience because most of the audience got fooled. That's one of the big twists of the whole film. And, yeah, towards the end of the film, all the new characters and the old characters come together to fight against the New Order, who have built this new thing called Star Killer Base. It's just basically another goddamn Death Star, isn't it? But this time it's not the exact same. This time it's even bigger than the original Death Star. And it can absorb entire stars and completely wipe out other planets. More than one at the same time this time. So it's even more powerful than both of the Death Stars that we saw in the original trilogy. And I really like it, to be honest. And I like the fact that it's on a planet and it's just been modified to be this new machine, this new space station, battle station, whatever you want to call it. And the final battle with all the X-Wings versus the TIE Fighters and everything, absolutely goddamn beautiful. Direction's wonderful. All the practical effects and everything. Yeah, we still have a bit of CGI. I mean, you have to have a bit of CGI to show how you can do all those shots and things. But the way it was done is just brilliant. The CGI is brilliant. It's the best special effects of any Star Wars film. It's brilliant. It was the best special effects so far in any Star Wars film, because, with the CG in the prequels, I know I've said this before, it's not going to age very well. Phantom Menace isn't aging very well already. But I like that they've used practical effects with all the creatures that appear in this film and everything, and with all the models of the ships. It's brilliant. The final battle. Yeah, I think you know what I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to talk about what is easily the most powerful scene of this film, and I'm going to be blunt with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I cried, and that's the scene, the bridge scene. Han Solo goes to face Kylo Ren, his son, and it is the most emotional scene out of the film, and it is easily one of the most powerful scenes in the entire saga. It's heartbreaking to see. And I think Kylo Ren, his story arc, his turn to the dark side and anything, I think it could arguably been done better than the story that we see in the prequels, Anakin's fall to the dark side. So I actually think that the struggle in Kylo Ren compared to Anakin's struggle in Revenge of the Sith, I think it's actually done better in terms of the writing and the performance by Adam Driver, because it's just heartbreaking to see. Because you can actually see there is good in him, but there's too much Vader in him. And you see that throughout the film. He goes off on these tantrums. He's absolutely insane, this character. And he's a Darth Vader wannabe. He's wearing this mask. He doesn't even need the mask. Although he does need it in Episode 8. Because he gets scarred. Because Rey kicks his ass at the end of the film, which I was just so happy about. I was just like, yes, go on, Rey. And he's talking to Darth Vader, the helmet. It's just so disturbing. It's like, what are you doing? You know, Darth Vader changed his ways. He turned good at the end. He's not like that. So yeah, Kylo Ren is a very messed up character, and it's very interesting to see. I really like it. I really do like it. I think it's been done terrific. I thought it was terrific, in my opinion. And the scenes between him and Rey, and when you first realise that Rey knows the Force and everything, when she's held hostage, and when she mind tricks that stormtrooper, which I believe was actually voiced or actually played by Daniel Craig of all people, which was random, but okay, yeah, fine, I'll take that. I loved it. It was just brilliant, and yeah, Kylo Ren kills Han Solo, and
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
it broke my heart. I burst into tears because it must be the first time ever in my whole lifetime that I've actually been so upset that one of my childhood heroes, a fictional character from a bloody Star Wars film, has just got killed, and I get upset. Because it never happens. I'm never like this. I never get emotional in films, but this, it just hit me. I lost it completely. I completely lost it. And what broke my heart even more was after he gets stabbed in the heart by the lightsaber, Chewbacca roars out loud, Rey shouts out no, and then Harrison Ford, you know, the look on his face and the way it's all acted, the way Han Solo just looks at Kylo Ren, he puts his hand on his face and then he falls to his death. So even after getting stabbed, you know, moments from falling down to his death, he still shows compassion. And Han Solo, for me, he had a heroic death. He had an absolutely great death, and it is one of the biggest shocks in the entire saga. It's the biggest shock since...
No, I am your father.
I am your father from The Empire Strikes Back. It really, really is. And it just broke my heart. I just thought, no, what the hell is going to happen now? But thankfully, Chewbacca shoots Kylo Ren in the leg, which I was just like, yes, Chewbacca, kick his ass. Because I want Kylo Ren to be destroyed. That's why I hate Kylo Ren now, because he killed off Han Solo, who's like one of the best characters of all time in any film, and they killed him. They killed him, goddammit. How can he kill Han Solo? Give me a minute. That lightsaber duel, though, it didn't have all the choreograph from like the prequels, Phantom Menace, and all that. As much as I love all that, you know, all the acrobatic stuff that you get in the Phantom Menace between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan, I just love this. I love the original ones more because they're just more practical. Because the way they hold the lightsabers, you just hit each other with them. You know, none of the acrobatic stuff. I'm kind of glad about that, to be honest. This is definitely a throwback to the original trilogy. It's a great lightsaber fight. It is definitely one of the best, in my opinion, of the whole saga. Again, a lot of things in this film exceeded my expectations. I didn't know what the lightsaber fight was going to be like. We knew we were going to get one. But the twist was it was Rey fighting against Kylo Ren, because Finn tried and he just ended up getting his ass kicked again, and he's ended up in a coma at the end of the film, which is sort of like a cliffhanger. And yeah, Rey totally annihilates Kylo Ren. And the interesting thing is, she's very strong with the Force, but she's not had any training. She just literally learnt it like 10 minutes ago, and here she is kicking Kylo Ren's ass, and Kylo Ren's pretty damn powerful. So, yeah, it seems that Rey will be one of the strongest Jedis ever, and it just makes me want to see the character do some more in the rest of this new trilogy. So yeah, Kylo Ren got his ass whooped by a woman. Ha 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 ha. And he's got scarred. So now he will have reason to wear the mask in future films. So yeah, that was brilliant. At the end of the film, R2-D2 is reactivated because he's been dormant all the way through the film. And he has the final piece of the puzzle to the map. So R2 and BB-8 form the map. They find the location of Luke Skywalker. Rey, Chewbacca, R2 and BB-8 go to this place, and they find Luke Skywalker at the end of the film. Luke Skywalker, played by Mark Hamill, has no line of dialogue at the very end of the film. But it sticks with the tradition, because the last minute or so of every Star Wars film, there's no dialogue. Honestly, watch all of them, you'll know what I mean. And it's just, it didn't need any words, to be honest. Mark Hamill's facial expression, and Rey just holding out his old lightsaber to him, what he lost on Bespin. It's great, and the music in that scene is just wonderful. Some of the best music in the whole film, and then the film ends, and it ends on a cliffhanger, and I was just like, no, I want to see episode 8! But episode 8 comes out in 2017, so we haven't got another 32 years to wait for this film. So in conclusion, we waited 10 years to see this film. It's been 10 years since Revenge of the Sith, but ultimately we've waited 32 years to see the true sequel to Return of the Jedi. Everyone waited 16 years to see the fourth Star Wars film, which was the first prequel, The Phantom Menace. Everyone went nuts for that film in 1999, and a lot of people were very disappointed by the film, and it goes down as one of the biggest letdowns in movie history. It was probably the most overhyped film ever, and The Force Awakens could have been in danger of this, but I am happy to say that Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, exceeded my expectations. This was the best Star Wars film in 32 years. For me, Star Wars is back. J.J. Abrams, you beautiful man, you got it right. I loved this film. I loved it from start to finish. It exceeded my expectations. I just wanted it to be at least better than the prequels. And you know what? It is definitely better than the prequels. All three of the prequels combined, even Revenge of the Sith, which I quite like. But this film, it gives some of the originals a run for its money, in my opinion. I really do. I think this is a new start for Star Wars, and I think now Star Wars will be entering a new renaissance. So, bravo, J.J. Abrams, and bravo to everyone involved in this film. You have just saved the franchise. Do I need to say any more? I'm just going to leave the score here at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, I'm going to give that score again. That's how I honestly felt. I think this just blew me away in my opinion, and it's essential to any Star Wars fan. I bloody loved it, and to be honest, I thought I'd like it, but I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do now, especially with all the twists and turns that we had in this film as well, and I always do like a good twist. But thank you very much for watching my review of the long-awaited Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I've finally seen the film now, and now we just have to wait until the next one in 2017, Episode 8. And I think the future is bright for this franchise now. I think the franchise is in safe hands with Disney. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more movie reviews by me, the Obsesstuvian 95. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you.